There we go, okay. Time 7:03, we'll call the public hearing to order. And purpose of the public hearing tonight is the Andover Planning and Zoning Commission proposal to modify existing regulations concerning setbacks, modify certain requirements for mining, removing minimum dwelling size requirements, add regulations concerning agriculturally and non-agriculturally related public and private events on farm parcels. So with that, John, could you call up the current version of the agro-tourism reg? That's where I want to start. And okay, so
How's that?
that looks good.
Okay.
And for the benefit of the public that are with us here tonight, this is essentially the same regulation is that we were working with Ryan Fitch on. He chose to withdraw his application. Oh, we lost it there, John.
Sorry, I just wanted to save it locally so I could make some changes to it while we on the fly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, very good. So it hasn't changed essentially at all since we got done with our deliberations on the regulation, but for the benefit of everybody in attendance tonight, I will go through, some of the highlights that I saw on here. And the purpose of the regulation is to support our farmers, let them do some things to alleviate the financial hardships that small farms experience while having a positive impact on the community surrounding them. Next thing down is the definition of an agricultural accessory use, which relates to the agricultural, like horse shows, wine lectures, stuff like that that's directly related to farming. And one of the things that we changed along the way here is we were not going to regulate those things at all, but we added the requirement to have a site plan review required for agricultural accessory uses. So even in those farm related cases, the applicant needs to bring a site plan to the commission and we go through it, make sure it complies with the regulations here. Next down is the one that was probably got the most interest, the non-agricultural accessory uses. And these events are not limited to, but outdoor recreation events, weddings, private parties, banquets, that sort of thing. And a special permit is required for all non-agricultural accessory uses. So even after we get done with these regulations, and if they are ultimately approved, what that means is that anybody who wants to do any of these things that are in this regulation has to come with a plan to the Planning and Zoning Commission. If it's agriculturally related, we don't need to hold a public hearing on it. We just bounce it against our regulations. But if it is a non-agricultural event, we would be required to have a public hearing with that. If you want to scroll down to 422 then, and for the benefit of those on the public tonight, if you have any benefit of everybody here tonight, if you have questions on it as I'm going through, go ahead and speak up and we'll also do my best to address those. The under 4.22, section B, we changed a little bit. We were looking for non-agricultural related uses. It would be at least 10 acres. And for an agricultural related accessory use, it would be 3 acres. So we put a minimum size there on that, which was a little different than what we were talking to before. The commission will decide, will work, to specify the maximum number of attendees based on the application. We've got, we refer back to our regulations in section 12 for parking. Scrolling down to the top of the next page there, John. Proposed use shall not adversely affect the enjoyment, usefulness, and value of the premises in the neighborhood. Paragraph G there, something we talked about a lot, the hours of operation for uses or events that do not include amplified sound shall not begin before 9 o'clock or finish after 10 p.m. at night. And that's the same day, same hours, 7 days a week on that. When we got down to the amplified sound, we came up with, amplified sound be allowed on Fridays between 12 noon and 9 p.m. Saturday between 10 a.m. and 9 p.m. or Sunday between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. In between 12 noon and 8 p.m. on all other days. So essentially Friday and Saturday, you can go till 9, the rest of the nights it's 8.
Are we gonna deliberate this?
What's that?
Are we gonna deliberate this?
Yes.
Again?
Yes.
On the regular meeting?
Right. Doesn't have to be a long deliberation,
Okay.
but
We are gonna,
we are required to,
some changes.
well, you've got some changes you're thinking of?
Yeah, I was just thinking that Sunday shouldn't be the starting time at 10 a.m. should it?
So,
Amplified sound?
so what it has in here, if you read on all other days, 12 to 8, Sunday between 10 and 8 p.m. And it says, subject to modification by the Planning and Zoning Commission to require fewer hours. So if there was a reason in the item we talked about at the last meeting was if the event was near a church and the church service was till 11 o'clock, we could specify in the special permit that, we don't want you to start till 11 o'clock on Sunday or whatever. So we've got that latitude to take care of that. I left it in there, for the sound attenuation to be consistent with the state limits at the property line, and it's up to the applicant to tell us how he's going to maintain that, those limits and that sort of thing. Under site plans, the site plan we talked about in the narrative, including setup and takedown, so we're not out there making a lot of noise at 3 a.m, breaking down an event and that sort of thing. And then just again, at the, on the last paragraph here with the agricultural accessory uses, the special permit shall be issued for a trial period up to a year to ensure coverage of the summer season, during which time the activity can be reported to the commission may be observed. During the trial period, the license can be revoked following notice to the permit holder and a hearing in which the permit holder will have the opportunity to appear and be heard as to why the permit should not be revoked. After the trial period, approval may be made permanent, subject to an annual review, inspection, and authorization. And there will be a $100 annual renewal fee. So that is where I think we stand on the agro-tourism regulation. If any commission members have any comments on the regulation as it currently stands? Okay, very good. Any members of the public? Baron, you have any comments that you would like to provide the commission?
Sure. I wish to thank the members of the.
Yeah, and we're having a hard time hearing you, Baron.
Um, can you hear me now?
Better, yep.
I wish to thank the members of the committee for their recommendations. I know this is an evolving process, and there are a lot of components to it. I think what really helped in my situation was a type of mutual respect that I had developed with the neighbor, and sort of an understanding of what's really loud, what's bothersome versus what's acceptable, things of that nature. So it's kind of a complex. I know it's very difficult to cover in writing, but it has been, there's other businesses have been worked out where, there's multiple facets to these type of businesses. I understand that. Whether I have a question, I really can't think of one right now, but that's basically what I just wanted to put across.
Okay, thank you, Baron.
You're welcome.
And Catherine Hutchinson, did you have any comments on the proposed regulation?
Yes, I do. Excuse me. Many of these are going to be a repeat of what I have said at the public hearings that were held on the former application. But bear with me, please. The other thing too is with regard to, and I'm going to start with the last thing first, because it's something that I mentioned before, and that has to do with the, excuse me, the hours of the amplified sound on Sunday. I note that Monday through Friday, it doesn't start until noon. And was there a reason why it was extended on Sunday back to 10 a.m.? Because what I would like to see is it Sunday be the same as Monday through Friday, with Saturday the only exception of starting at 10.
Okay, I understand the comment, and the only reason that there was a difference was the majority of people, and I don't even know that it's true that it's majority anymore. I was kind of, I looked at it like the various fairs in the area, where during the weekdays, if they're even having the fair, it normally starts later in the afternoon, because most people are working during the day and they don't have the opportunity to get over to the event till maybe 4 o'clock. Where on Saturday and Sunday, they do have a little bit of more latitude to arrive earlier, and so we were starting the event earlier. We had a different ending time on Sunday because we think most of the people are getting ready to go to work following week, and we wanted that to be more like the Monday through Thursday, wrapping up at 8 o'clock, because people are going to bed so they can get up to go to work, that sort of thing, where we normally think a little bit later on Friday and Saturday. So that's the rationale, if you will. We've heard your comment. We can talk about that in deliberation. And again, we mentioned that if there were we wrote in on both the hours for the event or the hours for sound, that the commission can modify that to require fewer hours. We cannot make it go any later than the hours specified in the instruction. So if there's a reason to start an event later than 10 a.m. on Sunday, we can do that. With the instruction written the way it is.
again, with regard to the start time at Sunday, if I can just make additional comment, and I understand what you're saying, but an applicant who is filing an application and perhaps tailoring his or her business or what they're proposing to do would use the 10 o'clock figure, whereas if it were the 12 o'clock figure, being a Sunday, when it's supposedly a day of relative quiet, I would still suggest that consideration be given to the same starting time of Monday through Fridays, and that is at 12. Or as I say, as I started with last things first,
Okay,
because I did comment. But with regard to, in general, with regard to my comments, and again, bear with me all, please, because you've heard this before when the application, Ryan's application, but this is a new application and a new public hearing. So I'm going to go ahead and, with your indulgence, repeat
Go right ahead.
repeat some of the comments that I've made in the past. With regard to a Public Act 490, under the statute, the term farmland means any tract or tracts of land, including woodland and wasteland, and the underwater farmlands used for agriculture constituting a farm unit. It is the assessor that determines what's a farm under Public Act 490. Unfortunately, the commission doesn't have the authority to determine what's a farm. It's entirely up to the assessor's determination. And the status of a Public Act 490 farm unit also is subject to change. In other words, farms can go drop off and new ones can come on all the time. At this particular point, and again, repeating what I have said before, that the regulations apply to any and all property in town that consists of 3 or more acres with regard to an agricultural accessory use and 10 or more for a non-agricultural accessory use. And again, this would permit commercial activity pretty much anywhere in town, particularly under the non-agricultural accessory use section. Statutes require the assessor to file an annual report with the state forester. At this point, according to the assessor's report to the state forester that's currently in effect, at this point, there are 37 properties in town designated as farm under 490. 20 of them have 10 acres or more and thus would fall in the non-agricultural accessory use category. 33 of them have 3 acres or more that fall within the agricultural accessory use. One of the farm properties in town, in particular concern, is the designation already as a farm, is the Percy Cook's property, which, as you all know, is very close to the town hall, the community center, and especially the school. There are also a number of the already designated as farm under Public Act 490 along Hebron Road. That property is basically located in the AARD zone on the easterly side of Hebron Road, starting about Lake Road and running to the Hebron town line. And that abuts the Andover Lake District and really comes quite close to the Andover Lake District. Excuse me. And there are also a number of properties around town that are more than the 10 acres. And that's what I'm particularly concerned with, the 10 acres where there's basically a lot of activity that is non-agricultural that would be permitted under the proposed regulations. And they're in the Lake District, if they're not already designated, they're in the area of the library and the church close to the Harp River Homes. Again, that subject to that. And even expanding on that, any place in town, and I'm particularly concerned about the non-agricultural use. Any property in town that is 10 acres or more under the present regulation the proposed regulation, I should say, would be subject to approval as a Public Act 490 farm, and therefore any parcel that's 10 acres or more would be subject to what the proposed regulations permit be done. And that is a lot of town area in town, and I would submit covers pretty much the whole town. So I would again ask the commission to keep, excuse me, keep that in consideration. It has the potential to affect basically the whole town and the nature of the whole town if put to its maximum use. I am very pleased with a number of the changes that the commission did make with regard to the reduction in the hours that these operations can go on, and including in your designation of the year review, including the agricultural as well as the non-agricultural provisions. So I appreciate that. And again, wanted to sum it up, make the commission aware that adopting this, it could have significant impact all over town. And really, that's about a brief summary of what I've said in the past, but to get the idea across. And again, getting back to my last comment with regard to the hours on Sunday for the starting time at Sunday. I've already put that on the record. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Catherine. And because I did ponder that issue a while after you raised it during the last public hearing, my thinking was that we are talking, so if we have an agricultural accessory use or non-agricultural accessory use, that would tell me, the intention here is to provide assistance to somebody whose primary business is farming, so that this other thing is accessory to the farming, if you will. And that's going to be something that the applicant has to come in and demonstrate to the commission about. Just because somebody's got, for tax purposes, a bunch of trees that are listed as a farm, if that's not his primary business, I don't think that you can say that the event, whether it's agricultural or non-agricultural, would be accessory to something that's almost a non-existent business. We're trying to do this where somebody makes a good percentage of their livelihood off of farming. At least that's my intent. And I thought that having it listed as an accessory use helped us enforce that. So that was my thinking. We can deliberate that some more when we get to it. I got your comment, but why it was fresh in everybody's mind, I just wanted to take a couple of minutes and go through how I was thinking about that comment when you made it before.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments on any of the commission members here tonight? Or John or Wayne?
Jed, I would just make one, it's John Guskowski, for the record, just one real minor correction on item L, the very last line. I think it's just cleaner to say there'll be $100 annual fee. You put $100 in parens, but I just thought you wanted to add the word dollar also, but that's a minor thing.
That's very good. I agree. Okay. So if there are no more comments on the agritourism section, I'm going to put that aside. We've got a bunch of little minor changes that I want to go through. And Baron, you're certainly welcome to stay. It's gonna be a while before we get, to the deliberation. But you've heard the comments, you've heard the discussion. I think you probably got what you want out of attending tonight.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay,
So Jed, you want to bring up, you sent me two documents. One is summary of proposed changes and the other is zoning regulations pending 2025.
just bring up the zoning regulations document. I'll go through the
Okay.
summary changes as we walk our way through that. And we'll start off with section 4.9.2.
Four point nine point two.
Okay, yeah, and if you can blow that up just a little bit more, that. Okay, so. Here, and this goes back to, a lot that we were discussing over on, Hendy Road and so the applicant wanted to create a lot and it didn't have any frontage on the road. And it wasn't really a rear lot, wasn't really, well, it just didn't have any frontage. Yeah, you can have all the width you want on a rear lot, but it's got to have something along the road. And so we wanted to change width to frontage to be consistent with, we've got to have a given amount of frontage on the road to safely access the rear lot, and that's what the requirement is. And then there's other definitions on the rear lot, but width was not appropriate, frontage was, and that's why we changed it there.
And you also gotta add a T, less than he required lot. Less than the required lot.
But, so are you at 493 here?
Or no, two.
492, a lot. and
Oh,
one-
right there.
Oh, okay, put that in there, that'd be good.
Yeah, let me check changes. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Scott. And then we go down to 493. And again, we're talking about, we just changed width to frontage there. And so that was the change, and that's all there is to that. So any questions on those particular two changes? Okay, why don't you scroll down, John, to 7A09.
Seven.
Yep,
All right, where are we here?
Oh,
That's still
you're-
four. Okay, I'm still in four. Sorry.
they go fast after you get out of 4, yeah.
7,
There,
8,
okay,
09, there we are. Yep.
So. I've, we've had a couple of people apply for sheds and they look like garages, and in the question in my mind that I wrestled with Jim Hallisey a bunch is, in this day and age, should you in the Lake District be able to have more than a 2-car garage? And it's, in my mind, we do have several houses around the lake that have 3-car garages in them already. I also wrestled with this again when we were talking about the fella up on Bizola Road with his huge 2-car garage in the Lake District. It's really more than a 2-car garage. It only had 2 doors on it. But I thought, if you got a big lot, you're in the Lake District, you want a 3-car garage, why shouldn't you be able to have a 3-car garage? And so I put it in here that was permittable with a special permit. So, not everybody gets to have a 3-car garage, but if you got a reasonable sized lot, I think that's okay. Because people have ended up with it already somehow. We're doing that. So I thought that made sense. Any comments from anybody in attendance on that particular proposed change?
You want to specify a lot size?
I did not. It's gonna be dependent upon the shape of the house, where it sits. We still got the setbacks. If you got these little lots, in most of the little lots, they come in asking for a variance on the setbacks already. And so I'm thinking that if we hold the compliance with the setbacks, we'd probably be okay there, in my mind. Any other questions on that? Okay, I'm gonna move down to section 8.1. Okay, so this, this was, really, this is an offshoot of eliminating the requirement for, car lots and that to go to ZBA, It doesn't have to by state law anymore. It does by, planning and zoning, but, as Wayne was reviewing that, we changed gasoline to motor vehicle fuel in case somebody was just selling, diesel fuel or something. So it made it more inclusive. That might even include a charging station. I don't know, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But it's more than just gasoline. So that's the only reason for that change there.
You could add commercial vehicle charging station
I
to those words.
want to don't want to make the deliberation any trickier than it is. I want to get the,
Commercial vehicle.
Yeah.
charging station or something.
but
There's-
it may prompt another change, and I'm a continuous process improvement kind of guy.
Okay.
But any other comments on that particular change from gasoline to motor vehicle fuel? Okay, why don't you scroll down to 9.1? Okay, and so again, what we did here is we changed auto to motor vehicles on the first 3 things, and then we added motor vehicle storage facility. And that was included in the ZBA article that we got rid of because no longer required by state. And just to make sure that we covered it, we put it, is allowable by special permit in the industrial zone here. So that's that one. Any comments on that particular change? And then we renumbered the rest of them. So that's what the renumbering is all about there. Okay, hearing none, scroll down to 10.7.2. Okay, yeah, so. Again, we had an application where somebody wanted to build a new construction home in a floodplain. And it says that, someplace else it talks about prohibited things, and it was new construction residential was prohibited in the floodplain. But the attorneys came back and said, well, how can that be true when it says here residential construction, new construction? You're telling us right there that's allowed. So in order to preclude that from happening again, because in my mind, we shouldn't be building houses in the floodplain, we crossed out new construction there. So if you've already got a house in the floodplain, you can substantially improve it. You just can't build a new home there in the floodplain. Looking down there at paragraph 2, talks about manufactured homes. If we're not gonna allow new construction in a floodplain, we didn't need to talk about building manufactured homes in the floodplain. So I just got rid of that entire paragraph. And renumbered some more down there. And that's, so that's the essence of that particular change. Any comments from anybody on those?
Yay.
Yay, took a while, Scott. I promise you we get there. I guess it's not done yet, but we're getting close. Okay, next up is section 11.1.
All right, sorry, I thought we were done with that. Just a second.
Oh, no, we got a couple more to go.
$11.1.
Yeah.
Are we on, is it the table?
That's 11.2, we're right above it.
All right. There we go.
Right there. Yeah, and so, the state has done away with minimum floor requirements for building a house. And so we deleted those. Now you can go down to the table. Okay, so here, up on the top, we're had minimum requirement for lots, we're specified width, we changed that to frontage. I think at one point in time, we were using those two terms interchangeably. Now we're not, and so frontage is the correct word there. Over on the right-hand side, all those blue for floor areas, that whole column is eliminated because, we're not allowed to specify minimum floor area size anymore. Going down, back, under the open space lot on the front yard feet, the current requirement by our regulation is 20 feet. Oops, yeah, go.
Sorry, yeah, no, I think I clicked a link inadvertently. Here, hang on.
Okay, yeah,
All right, here we are. Just trying to
so,
highlight this.
yeah, and I can't read what that says, but in my notes here, it says 30.
Yeah, that's front yard is being proposed to change from 20 to 30.
And that's because you measure the front yard setback from the center line of the road. And so if we had a 20-foot setback with a 10-foot wide, 20-foot wide road, which I think our roads are probably a little bit bigger, I think they're more like 22, but you would be building a house essentially right next to the road. I don't think that's what we wanted. I think when we came up with some of the numbers in here, we forgot that we measured from the center line. So I changed that to 30. Actually, when we get to deliberation, I was wrestling with, is 30 enough? Should it be bigger than that? But 30 is what I went with, just to add the center line of the road there.
Can I ask just it's kind of a silly question. Why is it different than any other lot?
Don't know the answer to that, and for purposes of this chart, I wasn't gonna go there. I figured we wanted to give somebody an allowance to make it easier to build an open space subdivision lot. So an open space lot, we made it so that you didn't have to have quite so much
Square footage, right?
setbacks and all that, because we're counting on getting some open space as part of the deal.
Okay.
And so that made sense to me. The next one that I changed was Andover Lake open space.
And over Lake seasonal.
Yeah, okay, well, Andover Lake seasonal, I deleted.
We
And again, I don't think anybody, you know, we used to have something in here that a seasonal house only had to be 500 square feet. I saw that reading through some of this stuff. Nobody's gonna build a seasonal house on Andover Lake anymore. There might be a couple of them that are still there, but I think it is really all tribal knowledge that, that you know that they're seasonal houses. I think they all, in my mind, qualify as a year-round house if you look at what's the difference between the two, but, what I was trying to avoid also in getting rid of the seasonal requirement is when a person wants to change his seasonal house to a year-round house, you have to come in with a special permit to do that. And when somebody had a variance approved for a seasonal house, and now you want to build a year-round house, which required more, a bigger lot, I didn't see how he could get through the hardship thing by doing that. You know, if he already had a variance for a smaller lot, now we've got the requirement for a bigger lot. How is he gonna get authorized to do that? I think it's in the town's interest to have these lots upgraded to year-round houses. I think that's something that we want. And so I didn't want to put the applicant in a position where there was, he had to prove a hardship and there was no way to prove it. And so we just got rid of the seasonal because every house out there now is essentially a year-round house. And I did not get rid of the requirements out of section 7 for upgrading it using a special permit, because I wasn't sure what the unintended consequences were. And so this way, if somebody thinks they have a seasonal house, they want to upgrade it, we get to take a look at it just to make sure it makes sense. And I was okay with that. I left that in, but I wanted to not get wrapped around all these things, because we've got some year-round houses that are on lots smaller than the lots that the seasonal houses are currently on. And so that didn't make any sense to me either. So that's why I changed that one.
Jed, you might want to look at 7.0.2.
Okay, we'll let John scroll back there. 7.0.2.
I should have brought this up earlier, should have caught it.
Yeah,
It's an as of right use.
So to be consistent,
Okay.
you just get rid of that entirely, right?
I'm thinking about it for just a second, but I do think that that's a good call. We can just go ahead and scratch that paragraph. And
And renumber the rest.
in what way?
Renumber the rest.
Yeah. Oh, good job, John. See, when I go to, I try to,
Hold on, I just want to save this as the right version, so I can track it down.
when I try to format this thing, a lot of times it's like a jack in a box and things pop out and I spend an hour trying to get it back to where I was. And so watching you just do that, I am more convinced than ever that you should be the custodian of the master plan. Yeah. Cause I would have spent an hour trying to do what you just did. Okay, very good. Back to the chart. So scrolling down to the business adjacent to the ARD. And we used to have a 10-foot front yard setback. And as we discussed at the last meeting, if your adjacent to the ARD, why would we want to allow you to have a smaller setback? And again, with a 10-foot setback and a 10-foot road width, you would be building right out to the road, which we didn't want, so I changed it to 45 because I wanted it to be the same as all the other businesses. You shouldn't have to have less setback when you're by a residential neighborhood. So that's what I did there.
What's that 751 Jet on Interville?
751, that is a typo, and
The one.
I don't see where it is,
One should
but
be a
it's
superscript
supposed to be superscript.
and refer to the footnote, a footnote down below.
Okay, when I printed it off, I missed a little bit at the edge there, so. But I know the note you're referring to, Scott, and it's supposed to be 7-5 with a superscript up there, 1.
Wait, I'm sorry, where are you? Oh, this one right here?
Rear.
Yeah, that's that one. That one should be a superscript.
All right, wait, I can format the text. Where is it?
I think you go to font and
All right, I'll figure that out.
Okay,
the one above it should be a superscript
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
But that's removed, so. Doesn't matter.
that one's being deleted anyway, but yeah, okay.
okay, yeah.
That's right, okay. You're right.
I'll flag it.
So I think that's all on the chart for section 11.2. Anybody got any comments on the changes we just talked about? Okay, scroll down to section 16.
Sand and gravel. Okay,
Sand and-
16.1.1.
Yep, so. Here, the intention is. Somebody could be having a mountain on their property and wanted to do a mining thing. And they said, well, I'm just removing surplus material, so I got level lot to put my house on. We wanted to eliminate the ability of somebody to do that, so we said, removal of material necessary for construction of structures, yes, for which building permit's been issued and approved, provided such removal does not exceed 1,000 yards of material. And so if you're gonna be taking more than 1,000 yards, in that 1,000 yards, it was kind of arbitrary. But I think we arbitraried on the larger side rather than smaller side, so I think if with that, nobody's gonna accuse us of being too restrict on removing dirt for digging a basement or something.
Like 50 loads.
And Jed, this is probably a minor formatting thing, and I'll defer to the construction folks in the room. Should we refer to those as cubic yards rather than just yards?
Yeah, probably.
Cubic yards is more technically correct, yeah, that'd be good.
I don't know, if the word yard is anywhere else in there, but.
Yeah. Well,
No, it is, yeah.
And then they could still get a special permit if it does exceed that. Right?
yeah, be good, yeah,
62, okay.
but just as a rule of thumb, if you're gonna be taking a mountain off your property, we need to have a excavation special permit. But special permit,
That's
no matter
a
you got it,
lot. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
yeah.
Yes, several towns have encountered problems with people buying
Right.
land that had gravel on it.
Years later, they're still removing gravel.
Yeah, 16.1.2 is essentially the same kind of thing. But with agriculture, instead of building a building, then we renumbered the rest of the things there. Any questions or comments on that particular change?
And there again, I just picked 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I got you, yeah. If
Anybody, the assembled.
it's gonna at least put a limit on what somebody can haul out of there, or we can go in and cite them as being contrary to our
I wonder how many
regulations.
loads they took out of the gravel out there.
I don't know.
I bet nobody knows.
Well, what we do know is how many loads of dirt, I don't have a number, they put back in there. And I was surprised at that, just to raise the level up, the 4 inches.
Oh, God, he had at least 40 loads in there.
Yeah, 40 to 60 loads, it was an awful lot, he came back with more. Okay, let's scroll down to section 19.
(1922) is that where we are?
That's,
Oh, no. You tell me, Jed.
okay, well, so wherever you see blue, okay, so, and this is just kind of a formatting thing. Requirements of section 19.2.6, I got rid of that because there was no section 19.2.6.
Okay.
And so it didn't make any sense to reference that. It was just in addition to these requirements, period.
These are this.
It's this requirement.
Okay, that's fine, yeah, is that, okay, whatever, it says this here, yeah.
Yeah.
So when we look at 19.2, so scroll up a little bit so we can see the top of it there. I don't know how we did this. And, really didn't care. But when we were talking about BB and his Class A kennel, or his kennel out on Route 6, we determined that he was really after a type A kennel based on the number of dogs that was gonna be out there. And now I'm starting to understand. It says 19.2.1 special requirements. I thought it said special permit requirements there. We'll take a look to make sure I don't need to add that there, that's the same as the rest. But what I remember was Attorney Grant's, when we were struggling to get that going without a public hearing, said, well, it's not a special permit. It says permitted in all uses except flood prone zone. So you can go ahead and do what you want to do. I wanted to make sure that every kennel got a special permit, because I think that's a big deal. And so I put the commission will set a public hearing date in accordance with the provisions of Connecticut general statutes as amended. So we would have that be a special permit, but somebody keep me honest, we might need to. When I look at the Class B kennel, I want to make the wording the same. So scroll down to, we get to the type B kennels. Whoops, let's talk action of the commission here. So the commission will take action on such application in accordance with section 23.3 Charlie 3, which is the special permit section of our regulations. And again, that to force you back to having a special permit. And so it is special permitted uses, John. So if you go back to 19.2.1, yep, 19.2.1.
2.1 right here.
You could put special permit requirements in there because that's what I was reading, even though that word is not there. Okay, that's good. So that makes it even better with, yes, type A kennels will now require a special permit and it goes from there. Okay, very good.
Hang on, so if you go to 19. I'm wondering if. Okay, 19.2 special permitted uses.
For type B kennels,
No, 19.2.
19.2,
If you scroll to 19.2, which starts that section, special permitted uses.
yep,
The following uses are permitted subject to commission approval. That kind of covers it, doesn't it?
As far as needing a special permit?
Yeah.
Yeah, in my mind it does. In adding the word. Oh, I see what you're saying in there.
I
I
mean,
don't
It's
know.
because it's, you know, this is underneath 9.2, so everything here would apply. So you could just call it requirements.
I mean, for consistency, my suggestion is you use the same words that you use in 19.3. For the type B kennel.
Right. So it's right now, one says special, one says special permit. You could, yeah, you could change, you know, both or neither.
Oh, that's a little bit beyond, my ability to do on the fly here. Because, you know, we would be renumbering a bunch of stuff,
No, I no, I don't think so. I think, you know, Wayne, you're just talking about the phrasing, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah, you just copy, you just change type B kennel to type A and use the exact same words.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
And then it's consistent throughout the whole kennel section that way.
Well, so there are different requirements, like, right, so the special requirements for type B kennels has A through E, right?
There are different requirements, and that's why they're different sections. I didn't want it to be a special permit.
I'm not saying to use any of the A through D stuff. I'm just saying use the word special permitted uses. And that.
Right.
C section 23.
Okay, so,
And the line after that, that's it.
so right this minute, 19.2 in our regulation says special permitted uses, type A kennels, which is the exact same words as 19.2.
Right. It doesn't say C section.
It does say, they both say C section 23, I believe.
Oh, yeah, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, then the following uses are permitted subject to commission approval. You can leave it like that, I withdraw my.
Well, the sentence that's different is the one right under 19.2 where it says here, the following uses are permitted subject to commission approval. The other ones say, following uses are permitted subject to commission approval following a public hearing
Oh.
with the Connecticut general statutes. And I put that in a different spot there for type A. And I think it's technically correct. It might be worded a little bit funnier, but it gets the point across that you're gonna have to have a special permit in a public hearing.
So just for consistency, I'll add the longer phrase for both.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, scroll down to see if there's anything else there, okay, and then,
So,
and that gets you, that refers you into the special permit, section. Rather than, you know, we tried to spell out a bunch of the requirements for a special permit in here, now just go to section 23.3 C. Okay.
What, I'm sorry, so we're going, oh, 23,
See,
are we going down there? Or are you're just talking about the reference?
you know, that is all the changes that I made
Oh,
to
okay.
section 19 were just in the class A. Now, I may have added section 23.3 Charlie 3 in there in a couple of different places, just because 19.2 maybe he was trying to reference it back to the things under the class A kennel, but you know, we just need to reference the thing in the special permit section, and that's what that does. You know, it was kind of a non-change formatting thing in my mind.
just a quick question,
Yeah.
the type A kennel, is that like the smallest
Yep,
So do we really require a public hearing for that or?
we do. So
Okay, fair
if
enough.
somebody were to put a kennel next to your house, I
Yep,
think
right.
you want to have a say about it.
Thank you for clarification.
Yeah, and that's really, you know, I didn't think it was right to not have a public hearing if you're talking about having a kennel.
Jed, can I,
Barky dogs.
can I just raise a quick procedural
Yep.
matter? And so this is, you know, so this section here where we say for any of the above uses shall be submitted for application procedure for any of the above uses. So it should be like applications for the above uses.
Yep.
But 10 days prior to the meeting of commission. Just is that I guess I'm wondering what the purpose behind that is, because it runs afoul or it's a little bit more rigid than the general statutes would provide. Because the general statutes provide that you can submit an application up to 24 hours prior to the next meeting and it will be received. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to decide on it and consider it or really have much time to look at it, but the statutes allow you to get it received.
You're right, and so again, the only thing I was trying to change on this was to make sure we got a special permit. I think that, so if we had a special permit, the permit would come in, it could be coming in the day before the thing, and all we would do is say, Wayne, is the application complete? He would say yes, we would say, okay, we're gonna schedule a public hearing. I think when you did not have to do a public hearing, sometimes, you know, if it's just the commission review, you can do that on that day. I don't know, I think we were just trying to get it, so it always annoyed me when I walked into a planning and zoning meeting and here comes the application we're supposed to act on that night. And that was the first time I had a chance to take a look at it. So when I saw 10 days, I started cheering. I didn't, but if that's.
It's just, I think, and again, this is something you can ask for it and you can expect it. But if someone submits it 7 days prior or even 3 days prior, it really can't affect your actions necessarily,
Right.
Those words, those exact same words appear in the type B and type C kennels.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and leave it there the way it is.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just okay. Just note that it shouldn't affect commission action, but it's it's fine to ask for it.
Is the type A, type B, type C, that's something that's commonly understood that we don't have to define it, or is it defined?
It might be in our definitions, I can't remember, but it is.
The definitions are up in that same 19 section. 19.0.
I think class A kennels less than 6. Then the class B is less than 10.
They are.
C is more than 10. That's just from my memory.
It's basically
There
10
it is.
10 to 20. Yeah, up to 10 10 to 20, over 20.
Right, okay, thank you.
Okay, all good discussion. Any other questions on or comments on section 19 change? Okay, let's scroll down to section 22. So this deletes the items that are no longer required by state to go to the ZBA. And so this is the ZBA chapter. We eliminated those things because they don't have to go there. Planning and zoning is gonna act on them, and that's sufficient. And then we renumbered the rest. And then we did, you can see the item D there, the motor vehicle storage facilities. That was not previously in the list of things for planning and zoning to regulate. We added that earlier. Okay, any questions on that? So that completes all the changes that I wanted to make. That doesn't mean there's not a lot more in there that need to be changed, but there were a couple of key points that I wanted to get wrapped up this year. And that does it. And so I appreciate a couple of tweaks that we made on that going through tonight. So looking back a little bit, I did think we were gonna have more attendees at the meeting tonight. One of the issues that we ran through, we did not get the notification for the public hearing put in the River East, where we normally put public hearings. There's no requirement that it be put in the River East, that's just traditionally what we do. And we missed the deadline. And so Wayne scrambled a little bit and he got it in the Journal Enquirer, which meets the requirements for we've got to post it twice, a couple of, within the magic windows, in a newspaper that's got substantial distribution in the town where the public hearing is going to be held. So we met the requirements, just not in the method that we normally do. And then it took a little bit to get the agenda posted online this time for some other reasons in there, not due to any lack of effort. I tried to get it there, because it didn't show up. And so my question to the commission is, we can technically close out the public hearing now. We could hold the public hearing open to the next meeting just to make sure that nobody that wanted to make a comment doesn't have a chance to do so. I think we held, we got a lot of input, and that input was used to generate the procedure that we brought forward to agritourism. So anybody have any strong thoughts one way or the other on that?
Move forward.
Okay, certainly we are technically correct. The people that were interested, we had a couple of them that knew about it, chose to show up tonight, and that be that. Okay, so anybody opposed to closing out the public hearing tonight?
John, this is Catherine. I mean, Jed, this is Catherine.
Yep.
I'm looking at
Great,
John's
Catherine.
picture.
Yep.
Yes, excuse me. I just wanted to ask if you could ask John whether or not he's aware of anything that happened at the most recent special session of the legislature that might impact on anything that was proposed, particularly with regard to some of the changes that were proposed tonight as a result of the Public Act that was passed last spring.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a copy of the whatever.
Right.
So I don't.
So relative to the things that we addressed this evening, I would say no. There might be some future changes depending on what the town opts to do. There are a couple of sort of a mixed use and transit oriented development options that a town can opt into that would require some specific changes about, as of right mixed use, as of right certain densities of residential development, conversions of commercial to residential, parking caps on multifamily. But those are, I believe, almost exclusively opt-in decisions by an individual zoning commission. I don't believe there is any, well, no, I say that. Well, yeah, no, there is a minor change. I believe there's a minimum dimension of manufactured houses, like essentially, trailers, mobile homes. or mobile manufactured homes, that was eliminated. So we might have to check that section of our regulations if we include some sort of minimum dimension, I think of 22 feet. That might have to be eliminated. But of the changes that Jed went through just now, including the agritourism stuff, I'm confident in saying the House Bill 8002 did not touch any of those things.
All right, thank you. That was my question.
Okay, so at this point in time.
I have one other
Yeah,
quick
go ahead,
question.
Patrick.
Also, even though, we have a pretty solid idea of what the proposed agritourism edit is, I know we had talked about, like a trial period, and if we don't like it, we can get rid of it and start over, or
Yep, that's in there.
it's in there.
That's that
Still in
last
there?
paragraph.
Alright.
Has all
Not just
kinds of
for the
requirements.
special permit applicant, but the regulation in general.
Let me read it because
Yeah,
I thought that,
just wanna make sure that, you know, if we do run into problems,
yeah, no,
because I just wanna make sure they're duly addressed and.
so you're right, yeah, good point. It says agricultural accessory uses and non-agricultural accessory special permit approval shall be issued for a trial period of up to 1 year to ensure coverage of the summer season, during which time the activity can be reported to the commission and may be observed to make initial evaluation possible. During the trial period, the license can be revoked, trial, yeah, so it doesn't. So let's say somebody 6 months from now had a special permit approved based on the agritourism regulations, as we did. Could we go back and undo that?
Wait, you
Certainly-
mean it- in the
Certainly-
agritourism?
What's that?
This is you wanted to make a modification to the agritourism section?
Yeah, looking at the very last paragraph. And at least it was my intention that we would try this procedure for a year to see how it worked. And if there was anything that needed to be changed, like the maximum, the times for music or anything like that. And at least, so I guess if we wanted to adjust within that year this instruction, and then the review period came up for the special permit, which we say it's only good for a year, we could kind of do that. As long as the instruction would be changed before the anniversary of the special permit approval. I think that gets us there,
But after that first year, does that mean that it's
so
there's no review after the first year?
there's always a review. We're going
Every
back
year?
and changing, we're
Okay.
changing,
Yep.
procedures every time we find something that we
Fair
want to do better. The
Okay,
thing that you can't do is if we approve a special permit on a regulation, and then we decide later on we don't like it, so we change it, the guy's got a special permit.
right,
It was my intention by having the 1 year review process that we would know after a year of doing it, no, we ought to change our regulation to do that. We can change it and not continue his special permit, make him get new special permit based on the current regulation. That's
Okay.
how I
just
think
double
that-
checking,
Yeah, good question.
thanks.
Okay, any other last minute things?
Hey, John,
Yes, sir.
for the last line, there'll be a 100. The dollars is supposed to be plural.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you're right, $100.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. At 8:19, I close the public hearing. When we're questioning whether or not there should be an S on dollars, it's time to close the public hearing and move on. At time 8:19, I call the regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission to order. At this point, I'd like to welcome Jay to our new alternate member for the commission. Have you been sworn in yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're all good to go. Thank you for applying. Thank you for attending. Looking forward to working with you. Roll call and seating of alternates. We've got all the regular members are present. Anne Marie and Jay are here as alternates tonight. No alternates will be seated. Any additions or changes to the agenda? And I would like to add one item. That would be an old business item 5, Charlie. And that is a gravel pit motion to enter executive session. And I've got some news on the gravel pit to share with everybody tonight. And we'll go from that. So that's the only addition that I have to the agenda. Any other changes? Hearing none, I'm looking for a second to my motion to add the,
Well, second.
okay, Ann, thank you. Any discussion? Call for a vote, Ann,
Aye.
Patrick,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Leanne,
Aye.
and I vote aye as well, so the agenda's changed. I am going to text Alan Cherna wanted to attend tonight. I think that's a good thing. I'm gonna give him a heads up that
Did he get the Zoom link?
maybe not. We'll find out real soon. Okay, so he's got that, public speak. Catherine, I think you're the only member of the public, still holding with us. You got anything for us at this point?
I think she's on
And
mute.
then you are on mute, Catherine, if you're trying to, give us anything there. Okay, I'm gonna move along. Next up is old business. First item, deliberation on the application 25-3 ZC. Andover Planning and Zoning Commission proposal to modify existing regulations. And I'm not gonna read through all those things at this point. We spent a lot of time going through it. So at this point, do any commission members have any anything that they want to, discuss on any of the changes that we were talking about tonight?
Did we wrap up old business or
What's that?
we wrapped up the old business?
This is the old
That's
business.
what we're doing.
Oh, it's under new business on my. I'm just confused, sorry.
Mm. Just looking for my summary of changes so that I can make a decent motion.
Jed, I think I mean, I have it, the one, if you sent it to France, I could bring that up, the summary.
I got the right one.
Does it have the, chapter? Oh, I got it here. Okay, I'm set.
Okay.
So if there are no items for discussion, I will make a motion to approve the proposed zoning regulations that were discussed at public hearing on November 18th, 2025, that changed articles 4.9.2, 4.9.3, 7 alpha 0.9, 8.1, 9.1, 10.7.2.1, 11.1, 11.2, section 16, 19, and 22, as were discussed during the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none? Call for vote. Ian,
Aye.
Patrick,
Aye.
Scott,
I,
Leanne,
Aye.
hold the phone. I withdraw my motion. I want to make sure we heard 2 comments from Catherine Hutchinson tonight. She suggested that we might consider 10 a.m. to noon on Sunday. I wanted to make sure that we had a chance to address that one way or another. I don't really care. I think she's got a good point that, Sunday should be a relatively quiet day. So think about that for a minute, and you're right, he doesn't have the Zoom link.
I emailed it to him. Accept it. Well. Maybe I can text it.
Hey, Alan, it's Jed. Wayne just emailed you the something with the Zoom link on it. Okay.
Oh, please, I'm trying to.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just, and I don't imagine you have access to a laptop.
I can text it to him. I think.
I can, yeah, we'll try that. Might not be great, and it's gonna be a couple of minutes before we get there, so, I will just keep this line open and I'll put you on speakerphone when we get to, well, I'll put you on speakerphone now, you just not say anything till we get to your thing. In the meantime, I'll keep trying this link. Okay, yeah, very good.
Or go to the towns, go to the calendar on the town website and just click on the link.
He's on his phone and it's just not working with the home, so, anyhow, he's working on it. So anyhow, I just wanted to. My goal is to get the instruction on the sheet, on the street. I don't care whether it's Sunday 10 or noon, I got, there's valid reasons for 10, valid reasons for noon. Anybody got a strong opinion that we should change it?
What if we just split the difference and make it 11 o'clock?
Okay,
Did you hear?
what, I did not,
She said split the difference and at 11 o'clock.
um,
Ian suggested.
okay,
That gonna mess up your, motion?
and. It's not. It's in the discussion phase. And so. I will. And before I do that, again, Catherine Hutchinson mentioned all the 490 farms, one of the things we did is we crossed out the requirement that it was a 490 farm. I thought we were putting in restrictions by making it a 490 requirement, and again, with the accessory thing, I'm pretty comfortable with that, I think we got that covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will amend my motion to approve all of those changes, with the exception that the 10 a.m. start time for Sunday will be changed to 11 a.m.
Here, this is all by special permit and review, so we could always do these things individually too, couldn't we?
Yeah, they will be. There's a special permit, so they will be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And-
so,
Joe, Jed, if I could,
yeah,
that is good, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
so, yeah.
So that's the change, all those things we listed, modify the start time on Sunday to 11 a.m. And looking for a second to the amended motion.
Second.
Okay, Scott, you seconded. Now I'll call for a vote again. We just, that before I concluded that business. Ann.
Aye.
Patrick.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Leanne.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. The motion as amended passes 5-0. Thank you. That's a lot of business wrapped up tonight. It's a long time coming. So,
How long? Couple
a
years?
couple of years, several
Couple of
years.
years.
Yeah,
Could be more.
Not as able to have,
good job. Yeah. Good job.
gotta go to the finish line.
Next item up is on the plan of conservation and development. And John, I'll turn that over to you. I know there was some thought that we were gonna get together and talk about that a little bit since last year.
Yeah. So we basically, I'm happy to, and again, so last month we sent you guys all the additional draft chapters, so you had another chance to take a look at it. This month we actually have been refining things, and we actually had a lot of comments and conversation with some of the conservation folks, specifically Marianne and Hank Gruner, and met with Hank last week, I believe, because he wanted to go through a bunch of the language and the maps from our latest version of the conservation chapter. So he just got those changes over to Janelle, my colleague, and who basically has a new version, not significantly changed. It's really, I'll just show you quickly. So this is from the conservation chapter, the natural resources conservation chapter. A lot of the maps were adapted and refined per comments of the Conservation Commission, open space, natural diversity. So there was a lot of, sort of minor editing and adjustment to maps. So We have, I believe, made most of those changes. I think Hank and Marianne are taking one more look at it. But I think we are basically at a point now where we have all of our draft chapters complete in order. And so what I would propose is basically for next month's meeting, you see the full proposed document. Again, informally laid out. It's not sort of the final pretty version, but all of the text, all of the figures will be there. And the hope would be that you guys basically take the opportunity in December to receive it and schedule it for a public hearing, or would lock down that date at least 65 days hence.
So the public hearing wouldn't be until February.
That's correct.
Okay. And I'm okay, if anybody complains that we're late, we'll just say we were waiting for the state bill to come through so we could make sure EOCD was consistent with that.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Okay,
But yeah, no, there's not going to be any issue about a couple months tardy.
yep, no, good enough. Okay, that sounds good. We'll look at it, talk about it at December and schedule a public hearing at that meeting.
Great, thank you.
Next up under old business is the motion to go to executive session. And at this point, I make a motion that we enter executive session for the purposes of discussing the gravel pit with the attendees, all commission members, the zoning agent, and our attorney, Alan Curdo.
So unless I'm mistaken,
And our town planner.
yeah. So unless I'm mistaken, I believe everyone in the room and online is invited with the exception of Catherine Hutchinson.
Yes.
So I'll ask Catherine if would you prefer that we go to a breakout room and leave you there, or if you have nothing further with this commission, you could step away. It's up to you.
I don't mind stepping away temporarily, but I do want to be participating when you're out of executive session.
Okay, so yeah, so actually it might be easier, Jed, that I just bring everyone over to a breakout room so that we don't have to boot Catherine.
Very good. Yep.
All right. So has the motion been acted on?
All right, so just clarification, then I stay on and you're going to go into session so that I can't hear, but then you'll be back, correct?
That is correct.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Jed, you ready to go?
I am.
Okay.
And I have to do nothing. So
no, I think whoever's running your PowerPoint will have to jump over.
Oh, that one. I gotta do that. Did the motion get voted on?
I think so.
Okay, Catherine, we're coming back.
Yeah,
Okay.
you've got us recording again, John?
We are recording.
Okay, very good. So we've completed our executive session, and as a result of that session, I will make a motion that the site is stabilized, and that upon payment, subject to the satisfactory settlement of the town financial requirements as agreed to by the parties, the lawsuit will be withdrawn. Looking for a second? Second, Ann, thank you. Any discussion on the motion? And hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Ann,
Aye.
Patrick,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Leanne,
Aye.
and I vote aye as well. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Alan, if you're still there. It's been a long time coming.
Looks like he bailed.
Yeah, it looks like he took off. He can't allow the legal fees. Well, we already did talk about that. Yeah. Okay, that completes the old business. Up for new business, election of officers per the bylaws, Article 7. And so we meet the requirements of the bylaws that all the regular members are in attendance. We do have one alternate that's not here. We do have our new alternate that is here, but that we can go through. Everybody that's in attendance will vote. And the nominated person has to have a majority of the votes to be elected. So I open the floor for nominations for chairman.
I nominate Patrick Doherty, chairman.
Now second that nomination. You accept that nomination, Patrick?
Oh, yeah, I accept the nomination. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Are there any other nominations for chairman?
I would nominate Jen.
I have chosen not to continue on at this point.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
I have enjoyed my time, but it's time for somebody new. But thank you, yeah.
okay.
Okay. So we've got a nomination and a second. Good, let's see. I'll call for a vote. Ian,
Aye.
Patrick,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Leanne,
Aye.
I vote aye. Jay,
Aye.
Anne Marie,
Aye.
the motion passes unanimously. 7-0. Thank you, Patrick.
Welcome.
Congratulations, Patrick.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Yes.
I only hope that I can run a meeting as smoothly as you do.
Well, it takes a little practice,
Okay.
but I'll be there to help.
Thank
You know, I lean heavily on Eric. And unfortunately, you don't have that opportunity, so I will see, what I can do to help assist and make that transition and everything smooth.
Thank you.
At this point, I open nominations for vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Leanne Hutchinson for vice chairman.
Second?
Oh, I was just going to nominate Jed, especially since he's offered to assist with Patrick's transition.
What she said.
Jed, how do you
Yeah.
feel? Thank you, Scott.
So say that again, I missed the first little bit.
The
Hey.
nomination was for you, Jed, as vice to assist with the transition.
I just answered Scott's nomination, not with a yes or a no, but by saying since you, Jed, just offered to assist Patrick with a transition, that maybe you should be the vice chairman, and then I thanked Scott.
Okay, I think first we should, did we get a second to the Leanne?
No,
I second the nomination of Leanne. Leanne, would you accept the nomination?
Well, I'm not sure how to proceed. I guess I can't nominate you in the middle of another nomination.
correct.
If,
Put it this way, Leanne, I would prefer not to be the vice chair. I had thought about maybe doing that because I do want to help Patrick all I can. Sometimes the old guy gets to be more of a thorn than an assistant. And, you know, I want to make sure, but I think I could do that, even with somebody else being the vice chair. So, I would be happy to not be the vice chair. I wouldn't be too sad to be the vice chair, but, you know, I think it's just time for some new folks to, get in there. I've been there a long time. When I took it, I said it was gonna be a short time. All things are relative.
Leanne's been doing this for 30 years.
Yep,
Planning
she,
and Zoning Commission.
yep, she's
very
very,
qualified.
she's very well qualified. Yep. She probably just doesn't want to be pleaded up to the chairman. But, we can cross that bridge. I protected Ann from having to do that, for the last couple of years, and so, we'll go there. But anyhow, so what do you say, Leanne? You accept the nomination?
yes,
Okay?
Thank you, Leanne.
welcome, thank you.
Ann, would you be disappointed if you weren't renominated? Okay, I figured that was it, yes. So, all that being said, I'll call for a vote. Ann,
Aye.
Patrick,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Leanne,
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Jay?
Aye.
Anne Marie?
Aye.
Congratulations, Leanne. Motion passes 7-0. You are now our vice chairman.
Yay.
Patrick, I'd be happy to continue on through the meeting tonight and have you take over at the December one.
Please.
Okay,
I'm not ready.
very good. Moving on to the 2026 meeting
Take
date.
a week to the next meeting.
I sent out a list, to probably everybody but Jay. I don't know if anybody had a chance to take a look at it. Every month next year, the meetings, you know, would be the third Tuesday of the month. There were no holidays or anything that I saw that would interfere with us having the meeting as scheduled. One thing that I'll try to check, because it's been requested of me that I do. Yeah, I can't find, so Attorney Brandt always likes us to make sure we're not meeting on the Jewish holidays, and I don't think we are. And as appropriate. So anyhow, given all that, I guess March 17th is St. Patrick's Day. I didn't figure that was probably a showstopper to cancel the meeting out. So that was the only thing that came close to being the conflict that I saw looking out there.
And also note 12 years of Catholic school tells me that that's pretty much not a Jewish holiday.
Okay, yeah. Probably not a Catholic holiday either. Yeah.
As raised in a Jewish household, I can confirm and second that is not a Jewish holiday.
Yeah. So anyhow, does anybody need me to read through the dates so you can look at your calendars, or you saw the dates, so you know how it goes, and it can pretty much work? Hearing none, I make a motion. What? Go ahead.
No, I said looks good.
Okay, yep. I'll make a motion to approve the meetings scheduled for the third Tuesday of the month for the year 2026.
Second that.
And seconds, thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Ann? Patrick?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Leanne?
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Alternates don't get to vote anymore. So the motion passes 5-0-0.
Just looked up on Wikipedia, St. Patrick was Jewish.
That completes the new business. Moving on to correspondence. Wayne, any correspondence?
I think I'll just say no.
Okay. I did have one interesting email that came in yesterday. And it was from the reporter of the River East. I hope you are doing well. I'm reaching out because I'm working on a piece about House Bill 8002 and how it may affect local planning and zoning practices in our area. I was hoping to get your perspective on a few questions. My deadline for this piece is 8 a.m. Wednesday, so a response before then would be greatly appreciated. How do you think House Bill 8002 will affect the town's ability to control local zoning decisions? And what concerns, if any, may you have about the state's increased role in housing plan? I wrote back. Well, I haven't read the bill yet. It is very long. I have looked at the analysis done by the Office of Legislative Research pertaining to the bill. I also want to support your deadline, so here goes. Of course, the bill will affect the town's ability to control local zoning decisions. That's the point of the bill. There is too much difference between small rural towns and big cities for one size fits all zoning standard, and I am concerned about that. Next question, what challenge do you anticipate in meeting the bill's new housing planning requirements, such as identifying developable land, updating zoning regulations, or creating municipal housing growth place? That's the new plan. It's going to be the growth plan, at the affordable housing plan. One challenge is that the new housing plan requirements will require more assistance from a town planner. This costs money. And I hope that the funding will be available for towns to work on affordable housing through various grants. We are currently finishing up Andover's new plan of conservation development, which is the town's strategic 10-year plan, and have identified several regulation changes to support more affordable housing. These changes will make housing more affordable, but at the end of the day, developers are not standing in line to develop housing in Andover. The question number 3, where do you see the biggest opportunities or risks for the town if additional housing density or new affordable units are introduced under the bill, particularly in areas that may qualify as priority development zones? That would be like the transportation zones there. Andover faces several challenges with affordable housing, such as lack of public water and sewers and the lack of convenient transportation to or from Andover. I know this isn't much, but I consider this way too complicated an issue to respond to before the ink is dry on a regulation and in a day. Sorry, I couldn't be of more help. So that's the correspondence I had. That's how I answered the mail. And we'll see how it comes out this Friday when the story hits. So that's my interesting commission discussion correspondence.
That's a good plot.
Yeah, very nice.
Any commission discussion?
I wanted to know how we were doing with formulating that plan for an explanation to the affordable housing for the selectmen.
That
John Gutowski, he was gonna be involved with that.
Yeah, he was, and we had said, you know, in the minutes from last month that I reviewed, John and I were gonna get together. And with Eric leaving and trying to wrap up the gravel pit and all these
Yeah,
other
yeah.
regulations, that I wanted to put to bed. John and I did not get around to working on that.
Yeah.
We'll try discussing that again here soon.
So,
Yep. Sound good, John?
Yeah, sure. What I would note is that our affordable housing plan requirement, the 5-year plan that I think the Andover adopted theirs in 2021 or so.
Yeah.
So that it would in theory be due in 2026. That is now off the table. The affordable housing plan is now replaced by the housing growth plan, which is primarily directed by the region. So we could do our own plan, but it's more likely that we will be participating in the regional plan undertaken by CROG. And that one will be due not until, I believe, June of 2028. So we have a couple of years to work on that. And there's several steps that are going to happen along the way. The state is going to undergo a process of determining overall state housing needs. Then we'll allocate that housing need by region and give the COGS the big number, say, 50,000 for the capital region, for the 35 towns in the capital region. And then all of the towns in COG will be negotiating and discussing their own analysis that will then filter down to the towns. And so we would be part of the process at CROG that will essentially assign a number to Andover, that not only a number like 200, but the types of some apartments, some senior housing, some assisted. There'll be a breakdown, and there will be an appeal process for that if we believe that the collective wisdom of CROG gave Andover too many units to target. There is an appeal process there. And the state office of GIS is going to have to come up with a system of analysis for determining extent of developable area. And so there's all of these discussions and processes and rubrics that have to be put in place between now and 2028, when the first of these housing growth plans has to be in place. So this will be evolving over the next couple of years. And again, the bill removed most of what we would call the sticks, the or else elements. It's very heavily weighted on incentives. And really, it seems like the only downside for a municipality, if we choose not to be a real active participant, is we might lose the ability to put in place an affordable housing moratorium. But that's such a remote possibility for the town anyway that it's not much of a stick. So anyway, nothing's going to happen fast, and this will be rolling out over a couple of years, and I would strongly recommend that the town stay extremely active and extremely engaged with the discussions at the CROG level, at the regional level. So that's my brief summary of that.
And now, do you normally attend those CROG meetings?
Well, this would be, I attend some, but this is going to have to be a whole new committee of some type. They're really going to have to establish kind of a housing working group soon.
CROG is going to have to?
Yes. All of the COGs will, because the COGs are per this bill getting pretty significant money, something like $200,000 a year per COG to bring in basically housing planning help. That I think ideally as staff members, I think there is some provision for technical services for outsiders, but the state clearly wants the COGs to take the lead on this, and they want to do this with in-house staff if they can.
What defines our region?
State statute. It's the state, like years ago, after the dissolution of county government, there were 15 councils of government or regional planning agencies. CROG was 29 towns, but back about 15 years ago, they reorganized and went from 15 to 9 COGs, and CROG got bigger. So Andover and Columbia are pretty much the outer southeast fringes of the capital region. Andover and Columbia are sort of the lower southeast section of CROG. But yeah, that was assigned by act of state Congress.
Okay, and so by being Columbia's town planner and Andover's town planner, that,
Yes, they have close conversations.
we got to go. Okay, excellent. And I do think, you know, the path that we kind of charted out in the changes that we got in the POCD about changing our zoning regs, you know, all that's still good. You know, I think.
It is. Oh, yes, it is. And I also note that, oh, sorry, Jed, go ahead.
One of the things that I was hoping to get more into with, you know, the River East questions was, you know, I think, I feel good that Andover's, you know, working on trying to head in the right direction. But, you know, we're not gonna have all the answers, you know, we're not the answers to every affordable housing problem. We'll do what we can, but there's a lot we can't do, and hopefully that'll be good enough.
Yeah. And I also note that there's no reason that, you know, again, we're establishing some affordable housing goals and actions in our plan of conservation development. Those actions, we will, if assuming we progressively and proactively make those changes to our zoning, we will get credit for that. So actions taken between now and the point in which our housing growth plan is adopted, that progress counts. Like, it, you know, it's not, we don't have to put ourselves in suspended animation for 2.5 years. We can make progress, and we will get credit for that progress in the next housing growth plan.
Now, I thought I saw somewhere when it talked about the housing growth plan that if we didn't have a plan or working on a plan, that you know, our funding could be impacted.
Yeah, I think priority funding will go to those municipalities that have a plan in place and have done more. There's a couple of transit things that we could opt into. And so towns that do that will get prioritized. I think they were careful to not say funding is cut off, but those communities will, you know, not receive the same, you know, bonus points.
But I do think that with the emphasis, and there's so much money out there that the state's trying to throw at housing, that we should be able to get plenty of grant money to, you know, help fund you so that you can help us work on all those good things.
Well, that'd be nice. It seems like the bill is directing.
Those grants, John.
What's that?
You know who's gonna go look for those grants?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
For his own salary.
Okay, any other commission discussion? Moving down to administrative reports, Wayne?
Just a couple of things. Me and Joe went out and visited a driveway that was gonna be paved on Lake Road. It's a shared driveway between two residences. Turns out that it's too late in the year for them to do the paving, so they're postponing paving till next spring. But we did talk the owner of the paving company into doing a water retention area at the bottom of the driveway. So
this is,
we're looking for a plan.
this is a major success where the nutrient allocation worksheet came into play for a guy doing a driveway. You know, we before we never had the opportunity for Wayne to even be in the loop on when driveways were getting paved. So I consider that you know, pretty big step in a good direction there.
With your permission, though, I would like to make contact with the author of that spreadsheet, Dr. Cortman.
Okay, yeah.
John Valenti's on this.
John Valenti.
Well, John Valenti got it. I mean, I have the paper that Dr. Cortman wrote for Columbia.
Yeah.
Okay.
That kid, he created that spreadsheet for Columbia, Andover, kind of.
I'll let you discuss that with Relief.
Okay.
But
Anyway,
I would think
I would like to make contact with Dr. Portman to maybe talk over that worksheet with them and while it's a requirement, it proved to be very difficult.
Right.
Very difficult.
Okay. So
So,
anything else, Wayne?
that, me and Joe, we kind of signed off on a draft site plan for 280 Route 6, which is, in between Wales Road and Shoddy Mill. So we expect a site plan application for that shortly. And, there's a potential application gonna be coming down the road, or on Lakeside, where a resident is, proposing to combine two lots, demolish a house and expand an existing residence. But that needs a variance, so if the variance doesn't go through, then nothing happens.
And that's scheduled for tomorrow
And
night.
that's scheduled for tomorrow night.
Okay.
That's the end of my report.
Inland wetlands, continues to be pretty slow over there. We didn't have a meeting last month. I guess that exceeded the, reduction in meeting length from the 4-minute meeting we held the month before. So those guys know how to do meetings better than we do. I'm sorry, that, we couldn't get it done in 4 minutes tonight, but we did wrap up some stuff. But that's, so no new news there. Turn it over to you, John.
Just one real quick note. I don't know if people had heard, Eric managed to depart Andover on a high note. I think his second last day of work, we received notification that the town is receiving a grant through Congressman Courtney's office of a couple $100,000, $200,000 or $300,000. Eric and I worked on this grant that would basically help provide a backup power generator for the whole civic campus. So for the fire station, the town hall, and the new senior and community center will get a new backup generator, emergency generator, so that the town campus can kind of be a emergency management center and a shelter. So that's good news, and congratulations to Eric, and thanks to him for that work. So that'll
Community center.
Yeah, nice.
all three buildings will be wired together on the same backup system.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's good news, and that's all I've got.
So, next up is public speak. Catherine?
John, thank you very much for all your input on keeping us up to date. And Jed, you've been great ever since I started participating, or at least listening to the meetings, since I believe it's been about 2019, 2020. And thank you for your patience. I'm sure I tried it on more than one occasion, and you've been great. And thanks to the commission members who also have been great as far as being receptive to listening to what I had to say, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for your participation. We actually, I do appreciate the feedback we get from the people of the town when they show up. I wish more people did, and but you're there for us, Catherine, and I appreciate it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Next up is approval of the minutes from October 21st. And I'll make a motion to approve the Planning and Zoning Commission regular minutes from Tuesday, October 21st, 2025.
Second,
Thank you, Patrick.
did you want discussion or?
Yeah, we're gonna discuss now. Yeah. I've never figured out the best way to do that, but hopefully there's, anybody have any comments on the minutes? I had none. Hearing no discussion, call for vote. Ann?
Aye.
Patrick?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Leanne?
Aye. Aye.
And I do aye as well. The motion passes 5-0-0. I guess going back to the discussion just a little bit, so I do plan to continue my time on the board, at least the next 2 years till
Awesome.
term is up. And I would be happy to continue to be the inland wetlands water course rep. When I first started out, there were some advantages to me going over to attend that meeting because I could start learning before the thing showed up here. But kind of quiet over there right now, so I'm happy to continue that on as long as you so choose.
Thank you.
Next regularly scheduled meeting, December 16th, 2025, to be held is a hybrid meeting. Any last minute comments? Certainly.
We want to thank you for your time as.
Yes.
Well,
chairperson of
I was
the commission.
gonna say, it is, in some aspects, a reluctance that I give it up. It's been fun driving a bus. But when I started out, I had no grandkids. Now I got 5. They take a fair amount of time, and it gets, as you get older, it gets harder to do a lot of stuff. So it was time to go, but I've enjoyed my time on the commission. With that,
Grandkids are the best, aren't they?
yeah, that's pretty good. That's all right. So I appreciate the opportunity to have helped out the town and hope to be able to continue to do that, but I appreciate the fact somebody else driving the bus for a little while. So thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Jed.
With
Thank
that,
Jed, this is Catherine. Could I add? Oh, go ahead, Leanne. You're
I
talking.
was just thanking Jed also.
okay, Catherine, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, and this is for everyone on the commission, and that is, I don't think that in general, it's understood how much time and how much effort everybody that serves on planning and zoning puts in, and including the alternates who faithfully tune in case they're needed every month, and very often stay on for the meetings so they keep posted. And again, I have nothing but respect for all of you, and thank you for your service, because as I started out by saying, I don't think anybody has any idea the time and the commitment that you all put in. Thank you.
I was trying to keep that a secret to Patrick for a little while longer. Yeah. But yeah, hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving holiday coming up next week. And I make a motion to adjourn.
Second that.
Thank you, Ann. All in favor, say aye.
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 Bye.
Motion carries 5-0-0.